Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment here for Week 11. Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans after winners of 6 straight games. The Texans find themselves, not the Texans, my God, the Titans find themselves facing a hapless Houston Texans team that is losers of 8 straight games. However, if you are a true Tennessee Titan fan, you know this. Even as we are looking at one of the best Tennessee Titans team we've certainly had after 10 weeks of the season, it's still the Tennessee Titans. And it's still a Tennessee Titans team that lost to the New York Jets this season. It's still a Tennessee Titans team that lost to horrible Jaguars and Texans teams, and even the occasional bad Colts team throughout franchise history. This is no game to sleep on here. We cannot lose momentum now as the rest of the AFC is trying their best, their damnedest, to say, please, Tennessee Titans, please be the best team in the AFC. We don't want it. I mean, I can't believe, not even that, the NFL, the Cardinals with a bad loss last week, the Chargers, the Ravens. What is going on in this league? Everything is lining up so beautifully, and we're not even healthy yet. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about this Tennessee Titans matchup against the Houston Texans this upcoming week. Oh, by the way, I just noticed I left my tracking on my face. Let's turn that off. All right, there we go. Now you can see my beautiful face in all of its glory. With that said, let us begin by talking about the headlines of this matchup. And actually, the headlines of the Tennessee Titans this week. Headline number 1, Derrick Henry appears. Now, this is from, I want to say, Diana Russilli from ESPN. I'm not sure what her last name is exactly, but she reported on the Get Up on ESPN that Derrick Henry does appear to be on pace to return by early January. I mean, I would love for him to be back before week 18 to get some reps in week 18, whether we have the bye week or not, just to, get him going a little bit. I'd also love for us to have a bye week the week afterwards so that we can come out in that divisional round and we wouldn't be too rusty there, because that is now, a slight concern. I mean, let's get there first. I mean, that's a great problem to have, but that's something that I'm obviously looking at this point. So Derrick Henry appears to be on pace. Love getting that news. Love hearing that news because, I mean, look, I know the Saints have a great run defense, and that's a large part why Deontay Foreman and Adrian Peterson struggled last week. But even with that said, my God, I have no faith in this running game right now. Again, I don't really understand why you people are so interested in Deontay Foreman. I know he had the 39-yard reception last week. Look, I've been watching this guy since he was at Texas. I saw nothing at Texas. I've seen nothing in the NFL. I'm sorry. I don't have any faith in Deontay Foreman. I won't have any faith in Deontay Foreman. I apologize. I have more faith in Adrian Peterson having some sort of resurgence than I do in Deontay Foreman whatsoever. I'm going to continue to repeat that until it really comes through to you guys, because I'm just trying to warn you on what expectations you should have. But with that said, we also have, this isn't really a headline, but people have been discussing it this week, so let's discuss it briefly. People keep discussing this whole notion of this Tennessee Titans pass rush / defensive line and the nickname that it should have. And I want to say it was Brian Baldinger that started this, because he was doing a film study on this Titans front. And then he was saying, what nickname should we get to these guys? And then all these nicknames were getting thrown around. And then all of a sudden the Tickle Monsters became a thing. And then now people are discussing this. Why does it really matter? See, here's the thing. I think we're all getting excited, including myself. I'm excited. Why are we naming a defensive line after 10 weeks? It's been very good. It's been a very good defensive front. They don't deserve a nickname yet. Not yet. I mean, we're not even sure if these guys are going to be around next year. I mean, let's call it right there. Harold Landry's having a breakout year. Getting him back is not going to be easy. You also look at, Danico Autry, he's under a 3-year deal. Big Jeff Simmons is great. Bud Dupree, he's been, good for us. But there's nothing proven with these guys yet. And I love them. And I told you one of the reasons I was so confident about this team heading into this year, why I had this team going 12-5 this year, was because of the improved front of the defense. I told you that this improved front was going to allow this team to finally compete more defensively, to allow the secondary and the linebackers to look better. I was buying into Danico Autry when we got him. I said, this was probably our best signing, or definitely our best signing in terms of value in free agency. It was obvious to me if you saw his work with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't care what you nickname him. I don't want any nicknames. You can nickname him whenever you want. Okay, let's get play on the field. Let's win a Super Bowl. Let's win some playoff games before we start worrying about damn nicknames. All right, hey, I'm the nickname guy. I go by MJ. I go by the MJ Tech. I go by SFE. I go by Sports Fan Entertainment. I go by Boss Man. I go by Street Sweeper. I go by Professor Kneecaps. I love a great nickname. Let's calm down with the nicknames as it pertains to this team right now. And I love giving nicknames. I give nicknames and gimmicks to all these guys all the time, but that's just what I do on this little channel. I'm not like, well, we need this to be an official nickname. No. Big Jeff Simmons is Big Jeff Simmons. We have Christian Fulton Connor Jail. We got Monty Rice Baby for fun. It's just fun. But if we really try to make it official, it's not as fun to me anymore. It becomes from a bit to just being a little too much. So then it becomes, I think, to the point where it starts to seep into the brains of not only fans, maybe even the players. And then I don't want them getting too grandiose right now. We have a lot of work to do before we start giving these players nicknames that are actually official, become a big deal, and they get too much into their own egos. Okay, so those are my thoughts on that. So with that said, now let's move on to the injury report. What does the injury report look like? Let's begin by looking at the Tennessee Titans side of the injury report. So Nate Davis continues to have concussion issues. Okay, this is not great. Looking at the fact that he's not practicing Wednesday and Thursday, you can't like his status right now, but we'll see about that. Bud Dupree with an abdomen injury. Don't love that either. But I don't know. I have faith, and I've heard in the tea leaves that he should be fine to go this week. We'll see about that. Chris Jackson, foot injury, did not practice also on Wednesday, Friday. Well, considering the fact how Chris Johnson played in this last week, he was one of the few defensive players that really did not perform well. This is not terrible news to me. David Long, hamstring, he's still dealing with that. With the improvement of Monty Rice, it's not a terrible deal. But again, Monty Rice is going to have up and down games. He's still a rookie. I want David Long out there. Jeremy McNichols still with a concussion. And we need McNichols, man. People keep saying Deontay Foreman is the best for anybody. No, it's Jeremy McNichols. Shut up. Seriously. McNichols over Foreman ever since they've stepped into the league. So McNichols, I want to get back and healthy ASAP. Rashawn Evans continues to work himself back. Damn it. No, I'm kidding. He could come in and at least be healthy, but I don't want him on the field. Harold Landry, hamstring, but it should be fine. We also have some notables, but nothing too concerning in terms of bigger names like Jeffrey Simmons, Jack Rabbit Jenkins. They'll play. Don't worry about those names quite yet. But I love seeing the fact that Christian Fulton is nowhere listed. He came back. He played well last week. I expect more from Christian Fulton. Man, this guy right now has like the 7th highest Pro Football Focus grade. He won't make the Pro Bowl this year, missed too many games, I believe. But, he's playing Pro Bowl level, and that is so exciting. And more, I can excuse the letting go of Adoree Jackson. I can excuse it more and more. However, would it have been nice to have Adoree Jackson and Christian Fulton? It might have been nice. Now, Jack Rabbit Jenkins hasn't been bad, though. So we got Jack Rabbit Jenkins for a discounted price, and that price was actually getting us Julio Jones. So I guess it all worked out for John Robinson. So I'm definitely going to give him that. People say I don't give him enough victories. I think that's a victory for John Robinson right there. Let's look at the Houston Texans side of things. Well, we still have Deshaun Watson listed there. That's funny. Really nothing to see here. Jonathan Greenard, that's something. He's probably been one of their better defensive linemen. Definitely has been this year. Who else did it compete against? And one of their better defensive players overall. But with Brandon Cooks healthy, there's really not much to see here when it comes to the injury report for the Houston Texans. So with that said, let's move on and let's discuss the Houston Texans. Let's discuss this matchup. Let's discuss the Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, people, it is no secret at all that the Houston Texans absolutely stink. And this is something that we all anticipated coming into the season. But even though we all anticipated it because Deshaun Watson was not going to be on the field, it has at times been even worse than I thought. Because I think I had them 2-15, but I thought it was going to be a 2-15 where they would compete in more games. But man, their offense has been god-awful. They are a one-man crew, and that is why tighten up key number one is to contain Brandon Cooks. You have to. He has over 600 receiving yards and is the only semblance of offense on the Houston Texans whatsoever, especially since they let go of Mark Ingram. That's who you have to stop. Davis Mills, when he's been out there, he's actually had a couple 300-yard games. Tyrod Taylor had a good first game of the season, had a terrible game last week at Miami. So you're not really worried about the quarterback situation. The offensive line is one of the worst in the league, if not the worst in the league. You have to stop Brandon Cooks, and he's still dangerous. He can still get behind you. Now, luckily, right now, we're having fantastic safety play. I haven't had any wide receivers get behind these safeties in a couple of weeks, so I like seeing that. Let's continue to have great play from Kevin Byard and Amani Hooker, who's now starting to get some Pro Bowl questions. But again, did he miss too many games? Do many people know who he is? I'm not sure if Hooker will make it, but his play is definitely being noticed by we Tennessee Titans fans. So tighten up key number one, you absolutely must stop and contain Brandon Cooks. He's the only one that's going to beat you. Only one. Philip Lindsay can make the occasional play, maybe, but I doubt it. He's not going to do too much. He's definitely mailing it in. He's way better talent-wise than what he's been displaying this season, as is most of this Texans roster. Well, maybe not most of them. A lot of them truly stink. But Philip Lindsay's not quite the case. He's mailing it in to a certain extent. Tighten up key number two, try to ignite the offense sooner rather than later. This is a tune-up game to me to quite an extent, and I want us to really view it as such. Now, currently, the New England Patriots are playing right behind me, and I'm going to go back to that game right after this one. But they have been looking quite impressive lately. And as I watch their tape, I'm like, man, this defense and the special teams unit as well, and how well knit Belichick has this crew right now. I'm starting to wonder, wait a minute, are these guys actual Super Bowl contenders? And they might be, because after this week, they'll be 7-4. They're going to be coming into town. They might beat us right now. I have them beating us, to be honest with you, 8-4. That's what I have. And then you start to wonder, can they win that Super Bowl? Now, ultimately, I think their offense is too young, inexperienced. I think they'll choke in the playoffs. Your best wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne. Your best running back is, you could argue, though, Ramondre Stevenson. But it's okay. If not, then Damian Harris. Their best quarterback is Mac Jones. They're not going to win anything in the playoffs. The tight ends they're good. They're not being used. Hunter Henry had like 7 passing receiving touchdowns, but that's about it. Jonu's been actually disappointing a little bit, at least statistically over there. So the Patriots scare me. And we need to be prepared offensively for them, which means this offense has to get more going, which means this passing offense has to get more going. A.J. Brown has been out there talking about, his mental health issues that he faced a year ago, okay? But as I said in my Sunday recap of Sunday's game, I'm not sure if these issues are totally out of his head yet, because he's just been dropping too many balls, been too inconsistent, and I expect him to be better because he has Hall of Fame potential. And as long as his mental is correct, he'll get there one day. And as long as health is also there as well, of course. So I want him to have a nice game here. I want at least 70 yards receiving. Marcus Johnson had a breakout game for us last week. Hopefully he continues, more of that to a certain extent. We don't need that. But more of that because of Josh Reynolds now out of the door, with Julio Jones back on IR. These too many guys to step it up. Nick Westbrook and He's only going to do so much. Okay, he's only going to do so much. So right now, it's the A.J. Brown show for sure. Marcus Johnson getting a little involved. Chester Rogers, what's going on with him? Is he injured? He actually might be injured. I'm forgetting if he is. Remind me in the comments if he is. So the wide receivers got to get it going. And Tannehill, we're not going to talk harshly about Tannehill today because, again, the wide receivers have been struggling. But I mean, even the tight end position, we got to get more out of this passing game. I mean, we have to, if we have those true Super Bowl aspirations, we're going to have to get more out of the passing game. And this is a great opportunity to do so as you face one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. So hopefully we get it going a little bit on that front. And then the running game, just a semblance of a running game. Right now, I don't care if it's Foreman or Peterson, although it won't be Foreman. Although in this game, he's facing his former team and he's facing one of the worst teams in the league. So maybe Deontay Foreman will do something for 1 week and then get people excited. But outside of that, let's get the run game going a little bit. Like, can we maybe, possibly, potentially get 100 rushing yards from this? I mean, at least 80, but I want 100 combined from these running backs. I mean, come on. We're facing the damn Texans. At the very least, 80. At the very least, give me 80 rushing yards. Okay, I know they're going to turn over the rock to us and make it a little bit easier, but let's get the run game going a little bit. The Patriots are going to come to town, and I don't know how nice it's going to look because they dominated the Browns, people. Right now, they're doing well against the Falcons. They're not dominating quite yet, but that's probably what the end result is going to end up being. They're playing confidently. They're playing well. They're coming quickly and fast. And if we're not ready for them, I don't think we're going to win that game. And not only, I don't know how close it will be. I think it could be by at least 10 points, at least by double digits, if we don't get this passing offense going. So I'm telling you about that right now. And then finally, tighten up key number 3. I want us to rest up in the second half a little bit. Too many injuries at this point. I don't want to play a whole fourth quarter, 15-minute each quarter game. I want to get Tannehill some rest. I want to, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to, let's say, temper any potential for more injuries, okay? Because the only thing that's really going to hurt this team more is more and more injuries. The fact that we're 8-2 with the injuries that we have is incredible. We're on the verge of 9-2, so we can beat this 1-8 team despite all these injuries. It's sensational. Let's keep that going. Let's keep that rolling. Let's stay healthy. Let's get a good lead in this game, and let's rest up in the second half a little bit. But I'm talking about more so like Tannehill. And then if A.J. Brown has a good game, Brown, and then defensively, a little Landry, a little Bud Dupree, a little Danico Autry, a little Big Jeff Simmons, rest him up a little bit, get him prepared for next week. However, I want Foreman and I want Peterson out there running and running a lot. Even if we're up in the fourth quarter, I want them running and running a lot because they're, first of all, expendable. I mean, I can't tell y'all, I'm going to keep talking about this. How you could literally call almost any single running back out on the market that was decent in college, and he will be what Deontay Foreman is. I don't understand how people don't understand this. Y'all's boy, Mekhi Sargent, is just as good as Deontay Foreman. And y'all love Mekhi Sargent. We might as well call him. Anyway, man, you, me, and this Deontay Foreman. When I promise. Anyway, so rest up in the second half, potentially. Now, with that said, what is my prediction for this game? Well, I do believe that we are going to not struggle, but we're going to play around a little bit more than we should. And that this game is going to be closer than it should. And by the way, a lot of people are becoming frustrated with the national media. And I've been over this actually since maybe 2017. I've been over the whole, and I don't know when y'all are going to get over this. You got to grow up at some point. Yes, it sucks. The national media doesn't love the Tennessee Titans as much as they should. We don't get the credit. What do you want? Do you want to win or do you want national attention? I don't want to be the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's cool, it's cute, it's fun. I want to win. I would much rather be the quiet, boring team that goes and wins a Super Bowl and makes everyone respect you than to just cry all season long that we're not getting respect. Did you see what Keyshawn Johnson said on ESPN? Did you see what Stephen A. Smith? Who the hell cares? My God, you all know I love Stephen A. I'm better than Stephen A. We all understand this. Why do you want his validation? Why do you want his? Who the hell cares? The only thing we need to do is go win a Super Bowl. That's it. And then when we do that, we'll get some respect. And even then, it won't be like the Dallas Cowboys. We're never going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen unless if we get some superstar. I mean, at this point, A.J. Brown is a superstar. Julio Jones, yes. they're subdued personality-wise, and Derrick Henry. Like, we would need to get a Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, is a little subdued personality-wise, but is just such an incredible talent that he just makes the Chiefs, a brand in and of itself. But no one cared about the Chiefs really during most, if not all, of the Tony Gonzalez era. Right? We would need that kind of superstar to come in here, which is going to have its pros and its cons, my friend. Let me tell you that right now. So I don't care. I want to go win football games. With that said, I have the Tennessee Titans winning this 24-16. And, this will be a 24-13, and then Texans get a late field goal. Maybe they're trying to win the ball, drive the ball down late. We get a game-winning interception, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think this passing offense is still figuring itself out, especially right now, injuries to Julio Jones, and the Titans not showing up yet. I think that the run game is certainly figuring itself out. And the one thing that could make this a blowout is if the defense gets some more turnovers, which it could. But I think Tyrod Taylor, after last week, is going to have a bounce-back performance. I think he knows he needs that because he still wants to prove himself to be some sort of viable starting quarterback in the league, even though he's certainly not. Absolutely not. Sorry, Tyrod. I love you. I don't. But the point is, I don't think it's going to be better than last week, because last week I told y'all we were barely going to win. I told you it wasn't going to be ugly, or it wasn't going to be pretty. This is going to be prettier, but it's still not going to be pretty. And then the national media is going to pick the Patriots next week, and they're going to be right. But after that, then we're going to get back on a roll, and then hopefully that roll extends itself all the way into the Super Bowl. So again, I'm warning you, let's temper it down a little bit. I mean, don't expect this blowout, especially if you're going to the game. I would not go to this game. This is not going to be a fun game. Unless if the defense really shows up and the Texans just keep turning the ball over and over and over. But I think Phillip Lindsay and Tyrod Taylor do a better job than some are expecting and anticipating. So let's get to the comments, and let's get to 2 super chats that came through from Balls Time. Thank you for the super chat, Balls Time. It supports the channel so that I can get more great equipment like this. I mean, don't you want to see more equipment like this? Thank you for the super chat. Let me get to it. I have to actually click it. All right, so first one was Balls Time says, remember the Titans. Yes, remember the Titans indeed. And then his second one, he says, how about them Titans? Say one more time. How about them Tennessee Titans, best team currently in the NFL? We just have to keep that going. All right, so with that said, we also had, so the first comment that I had highlighted was Random, who said, as sports fan entertainment, do you think Julio will be with the Titans next season? Well, to be honest with you, wait, what is his contract? He is like coming out of his deal, right? I'm almost certain of that, but let me make sure before I open my mouth on that. Julio Jones contract. He definitely has to be an upcoming free agent. I haven't even started worrying about upcoming free agents, really. Let's see here. Yes. So, okay. So, no, he's not. He actually has 2 more years on his deal, but we have a potential out that would incur us a $13.2 million dead cap hit next year and an $8.4 million dead cap the next year. His base salary is 11.5, and it counts against the salary cap is 14.3 for the next 2 seasons. So yes, he will be on the roster next year. It only saves you $1 million if you cut Julio Jones against the cap next year. He's going to be on the team next year. Okay, 100%. 100%. They might try to restructure, but consider the fact that it only saves you $1 million. Yeah, he's going to be on the team next year, and hopefully it'll be a healthy year. Someone said, ask Sports for Entertainment, why Professor Kneecaps? There was a moment in my life, this is like when I was like 16 or 17, where I didn't want to be a rapper, but I wanted to have like a rap name and just like make a couple singles. But I was like, what's a good name? And I came up with Professor Kneecaps. It doesn't make any sense. It's just funny, because I'll, get you in the kneecap and I'll teach you a lesson. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's a career that failed. It was never given a career. All right. Any more comments? We have Mark Sumter, who says, at SportsFan Entertainment, what's the bigger concern? AJ's inconsistency or the lackluster run game? Well, because we anticipate that the run game will come back when Derrick Henry comes back, that's tough. I will say, however, that was like 50-50. but I'd have to say maybe the lackluster run game because I don't think we can win if it's this bad. Yeah, and especially with some of the games that we have coming up. So I'm going to say lackluster run game, but it is very close. It is certainly close because ultimately, while A.J. Brown can be inconsistent, Tannehill is very adept at being able to find different wide receivers, right? He's able to spread the ball around a certain amount and pretty well at that as well. So I'm not too concerned about A.J. Brown's consistency because I know, like, ultimately, like, if Tannehill needs to find Marcus Johnson or Nick Westbrook-Ikini, if they're open, he'll find them, so that's not a huge concern for me, but it is a concern. But so I'll say the lackluster run game is more of a concern. Keith Bailey says, would you rather Buffalo or Indy win this weekend? Well, at this point, Indy's done. There's no way they're going to catch up to us. And y'all know I could be fearful. Even in my darkest dreams, is Indy going to come back and catch us this year? Even though I think I had them 9-8 in my mid-season predictions, if I remember correctly. That was assuming they looked better against the Jags than they did last week, and they did not look very good against the Jags. So I would rather maybe Indy win to just give us a better cushion for the AFC number one seed, because if Buffalo loses again, the only team that's going to get the number one seed from us, I think the Ravens are going to lose some more games, by the way, like definitively. I think right now the Bills are better than the Ravens. So I think the only team else I could catch up to is to be the Patriots if they win out, which, by the way, is kind of on the table, the way that they're playing. Or come very close to winning out. So be careful and look out for that. Next comment, we have David Kahn that says, will you make Week 11 picks? I'm considering an SFE 3 tonight where I do that. I don't know. I'm just so late in the game when it comes to picks this season. I'm like, what's the point? I did it that 1 week, which was fun. Don't get me wrong. But I think I'm just too late in the game for weeks this year. But we'll see about next year. All right. At Sports Fan Entertainment, at this point in the season, what team do you have going? Who do you have on the team going to the Pro Bowl? Kevin Byard, Jeffrey Simmons, and there's a shot for Roger Saffold. That's it. That's actually it. I know some people have, Harold Landry before Roger Saffold. But then that's it. Amani Hooker won't make it. I don't think Fulton will make it yet. I think he needs to, if you had played for 17 games, I think he would have made it. But not enough games. Hooker missed a couple too, so won't be able to quite get there. So that's what I believe about that. So I would definitely say right now, Kevin Byard, Big Jeff Simmons, who also should make the All-Pro team. A.J. Brown had a chance, and he still does, but he's going to have to wake up. I don't know about that right now. And then who else did I say? I'm already forgetting. Big Jeff Simmons, Kevin Byard, and Harold Landry. There you go. Those are your three right now. A.J. Brown, if he really wakes the hell up, he'll get there. But I look at, and then we pull up the receiving yards right now in the NFL. And look at it for the AFC. There's just too much talent. You're talking about Tyreek Hill having a Pro Bowl season, talking about Jamar Chase, talking about Stephon Diggs, talking about Michael Pittman's been better, talking about, Keenan Allen's been better. A.J. Brown would really have to step it up for him to make the Pro Bowl, so I just don't see it. All right, we continue. Foster Tate at Sports Fan Entertainment, which Jayon and Rashawn, he means Jayon and Rashawn probably being gone next year because of David Long and Monty Rice, you think we'll be able to keep Harold Landry? Well, so let's do a quick look at this. So what is our current cap situation? And, again, I like to save some of these conversations for the off season because we don't know the numbers until we know a better idea of, who played well, who didn't, and who needs to be cut. And then, because I tell you, some of these players are going to be cut. Right now, Taylor Lewan, he might be cut, and that's going to open up $15 million. But for right now, Harold Landry, his estimated market value, according to SpotRack.com, is $17.7 million. But he's not alone. As remember, A.J. Brown is also an upcoming free agent. So, no, he's not. I take that back. No, he's not. They just have him listed here as a calculated market value. It's only Harold Landry that's the big one, but we also have some others as well. In fact, let's look at that list. We have Harold Landry, Ben Jones, Jaron Brown, who like you said, is likely gone, but you could get him for another reduced price because we only got him for $5.3 million last year, and he's having a very similar year, if not, very similar. So you should expect maybe the same salary for him. I think you have to resign Harold Landry. I think at this point, Bud Dupree, while we have liked his play, Harold Landry's been way more impactful, finally showing up on the stat sheet, finally having, this is nearing and trending towards a historic season at the outside linebacker position for the Tennessee Titans, especially in terms of not even outside linebacker, but just pass rusher overall. This is what we finally expected, anticipated from him. I think you have to resign him. And if not, I think he could be headed for the franchise tag. I think this is a clear franchise tag possibility. And let's look up the 2022 NFL franchise tag number. If it's $20 million and, you're at the negotiating table and Henry Landry's, and he probably would, Harold Landry's talking about, well, I want, $20 million a year for 4 years. You look at that and you kind of, do a gulp. And you're like, I don't know if we could pay you that, but we can franchise you this year for $20 million. That's something that we can do. So the projected franchise tag number for, and he would argue he's a defensive end, would be $20 million. He's headed for the franchise tag probably. That's what I would anticipate. I think he's much more likely to get this than a 4 or 5 year deal worth $16-17 million a year. I think they'd franchise him and then see what happens, I think. That's my early prediction, but let's see how he closes out the season. Johnny Donahue, is A.J. Brown retracted back to ELIT? You know what? I may have to take away that E. I might have to take away that E. If he plays like this for the next upcoming weeks, because, why not give you that elite tag? I don't want to take it away under any circumstances. But he's starting to push my buttons. But I think he's going to step up, wake up. I think the mental has just been really on him. And that's his personal business. I'm not discounting that. But I think the mental is where it's all at when it comes to him right now. Pelican 3 says, hello at Sports for Entertainment. Hello to you. We have another super chat from Vols Time. Thank you, Vols Time, for the support with the super chats. He says, do you believe that the Rams are going to be all that this year? Well, that's what I believed. I had them going to the Super Bowl before the year, but now, after all their recent performances, especially against good teams, against us, against the 49ers, against the Cardinals, I just can't see them winning the playoffs. They're going to have to now go on the road not without a doubt, because the Cardinals also lost last week, so they're still only a game behind in that division. But I believe that they're likely to be the 5th seed, which means they're likely to have to go on the road and win 3 road games in the NFC. So that would be against, first you're facing like the Cowboys or the Packers, and then you're facing maybe the Bucks, and then you're facing the Cardinals. How the hell are you going to win 1, 2, 3? And you lost to us and the Cardinals and the 49ers. Yeah, I don't know, but everyone's losing to everyone right now in the NFL. It's a disaster. That's why we're the best team, to be honest. I'll take it. But, this is a weaker year in terms of the top-end teams in the NFL. So we're going to do one more, and then we're going to get out of here. We have Square Up that says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, A.J. Terrell interception. Nice. Okay, so is there a chance that the Patriots are going to win this one, or that the Falcons are going to come back and win this one? I'd say no, the way that their offensive line has been performing, but we will see about that. I'll still give them a chance for that. So there you go. That's going to do it for me here on Sports Fan Entertainment. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. Do you believe that the Titans are going to beat the Texans this week? If so, what will be the score? I want to know your prediction down below. I will be back on Sunday for the post game, and I definitely will be back before then for an SFE3. I'm not sure what I'm going to discuss. It probably won't be tonight. It's probably going to be either Friday or Saturday, and we'll figure out the topics when we approach it. This has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.